Okay, fellas. Oh. So if this is exactly on the money, we should really add another. Well, each egg is about 25 mils, so 5 25s is 125 mils. We really want to get to 350 if we were doing exactly to, totally add the right amount of water, But again, it's not water, is it? But it's going to be rained on, so we're close enough, I reckon. Feels alright. Anyway, the eggs there basically to act as a food source. You got the polystyrene generating reductive flow gas in order to keep the right environment for the organism. The perlite's there as a housing for the organism to grow in. The cellulose is there as a food source for the penicillium and all its antimicrobials it generates. Therefore, you would say, well, if it can actually generate antimicrobials, it should be, and it likes copper, it should be somewhat tolerant. And these plants growing very close to the ocean, it should be able to tolerate a little bit of chlorine and a little bit of chloride and things like that, because the copper oxychloride doesn't really break down. It's quite a stable molecule in a way, as far as we know anyway. So and it might inhibit the anaerobic nasties, because penicillium should be somewhat of an aerobic organism, and fungi in general are supposed to be aerobic organisms. So after that goes in the soil, you get a generic australis ensheathing the roots. It takes about a month after the penicillium, so a month plus a month is about 2 months. We should actually see some ensheathment, and if this is a total replacement for peat in a way, we should be able to get ensheathment around a candle, which really only basically occurs in peat. Doesn't really work too well in coir at all, in my personal experience anyway. And I think that's enough now. So let's get on and up and get going. Unblock the bowl. It's very heavy, fellas. Very heavy indeed. So come down to the usual process. I might have to shift it if we get too much rain splash, but the idea with this one is we're not going to get rain splash, hopefully, to a certain degree. So we put a candle there. Actually might be one a longer bit there, yeah. Hopefully we haven't forgotten anything, and we can just load this up. And how much we got on the cart, it's going to run out, isn't it? No, 3 minutes, that should be enough. Load this up, and by rights we should have enough to do another milk bottle sized container, or a pot, or probably of that sort of a pot of sort of this sort of size. Hopefully, if we're lucky, if we crock it with a bit of, but I don't know, might be totally off the ballpark. So anyway, what do you think of the colour, fellas? It's a sort of do you think it's going to release copper eventually, and it's going to get like a copper tint to the soil? Oh yes, that's the other thing. We wanted one on the side here, down a bit, so we can see it through the side if we can, and one to go down the side. So I'll put that down the side sort of thing, and I have to break it down a little bit so we can still pull it up on the string. Yeah. Okay, so we'll see how we go. And did you notice the way that formed a nice perfect circle under the container? So I reckon these would sit quite well on either floor foam or hebel, and be able to wick up the water from the hebel or the floor foam into the container, using that disc of saturation sort of thing that you saw underneath it. Oh, I think we have to do the same thing again with this one, get it level. Well, hopefully that will now lose some water out the bottom slowly, but then again we've got a bit more You've got 20% now of newspaper cellulose and 20% polystyrene. So hopefully we'll get less rain splash. But I reckon you could have got, if we put a third, supposed hypothetical third of intermediate size in there, it wouldn't affect the ratios of the newspaper cellulose or the intermediate of the fine polystyrene. So sort of illusory there, fellas. Illusory. Anyway, that's just settled down, and I'll get another pot, and I've still got enough left over in there, so enough to do a small pot, I reckon. If that doesn't go down, I might scrape a little bit off the top just to make sure we get a full-size pot. Okay, over and out.